Fishing shallow, one of the all-time favorite ways to catch fish. And that's going to be the topic of discussion today, here on Cabela's Fisherman's Handbook.
You know, shallow water bass fishing is something that it's an addiction to me. It's a passion of mine. I mean, I want to go shallow more than I do anything else. You know, so if I'm going fishing, I'm always looking at the bank for targets to throw at. And the reason why is I've just had success doing that. It's something that I'm comfortable doing. And so as a person or as an angler, if you're going to go fishing and you think you need to be fishing shallow, by all means go flip that cover, make a presentation of that cover, and do it with several different baits. You know, one thing I've learned over the years is I may think I need to go flip a jig in there, but if one doesn't bite that jig, I might need to throw a square bill in there. I might need to throw a spinnerbait in there. I might need to throw a shaky head in there. I can pitch it in there. But if I see shallow cover and I feel like there's a bass on it, I need to figure out how to make that bass react and catch it. Oh yeah, that's a good one right there. That's so fun. Never, ever, ever gets old. Every fish has a different mood. Pop that hook out right there. Thank you, buddy. We're gonna let you go back in there and grow up and be a giant. You know, when you see those fish like that and you get a chance to watch how they act and how they bite, really kind of sets you up for other ways to, you know, understand your bait movement and actions when you're fishing, you know, blindly flipping into brush. You know, what actions and different things to impart on it. And that fish there, anything crawling, it just seemed to drive me nuts. And in other fish, you know, it'll be the jump, it'll be the hop that'll get them going. So every one of them is so different, and you just got to let their mood tell you, because every day is absolutely different in your presentations.
We're starting off with Wade on Kentucky Lake as he goes super shallow to find where the fish are biting.
Right now I'm over on Kentucky Lake and we're in the middle of the winter drawdown. I've never fished the end of the lake that I'm actually getting ready to unload at, and so, you know, talking about fishing shallow, we don't have a whole lot of choice right now because, you know, a lot of the backs of the pockets, the creeks, or everything, I mean, they're bone dry. In fact, there's ridges running out in some places that I knew the water got shallow there, but I didn't realize how shallow a lot of it was. In fact, running down the lake, you know, I could see willows, you know, islands and things along that, and it brought back memories of when I had come down here probably 4 or 5 years ago and flipped flooded willows with Jeff Reynolds. You know, the lake was at you know, summer pool, the water was up in the willows, and we were flipping big bite baits and catching a lot of fish shallow. Now we're dealing with totally different conditions where the lake is super down, and, you know, you can see all the sand out there. You can see the ridges and tell that, you know, if we get some bites, we're gonna have to find some fish literally right on the dirt almost, for lack of a better word. You know, it's all part of the search in something like this right now, to see really what we can find. This is all chunking and winding in the spring, see if we can find some that have moved up into a flat and everything. And we're kind of going down through here. You can see the creek that's going in here. There's a big marina. I mean, the fish want to go back. It's just the natural migration, and you just got to get the bait in front of them and intersect them somewhere. So that's really all we're going to try to do. Fish those places that look like where they're going to set up and move to go back there and make baby fish. And when you can find them this time of the year, it's not uncommon to really wreck them. And Kentucky Lake has more than plenty to wreck.
Coming up next, we continue to fish shallow on Kentucky Lake.
Fish on! Come on, get together.
What I love about the Bradley smoker is that it cooks everything perfectly and it holds all the juices in.
So today we are going to be smoking some barbecue ribs, some venison sausage, and some dove, which is awesome.
You will never grill me doves again. I have to have them in the Bradley smoker. I would prefer to use the Bradley smoker every time I cooked. Well, that's really true because I love this thing. Okay. No lie. For more recipes, log on to bradleysmoker.com.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
S61 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
After all my years of searching, I finally busted the myth of the Yeti! The Angle High Performance Cooler, it's incredible! Just look at this lid, what a powerhouse! It's so freaking strong, so reliable, I just wanna boom! This silicone gasket's better than rubber!
Why, hello there. Are your base and sidewalls way thicker for superior insulation?
Oh, yes! After 10 days, still cold, still fresh. Let's hear Yeti do that. With Angle Coolers, it's official. The Yeti is busted.
Let's get down to business. Quiet, you sons of fishes. Now, what?
I'm switching sonar.
Why?
Because now I can see fish swimming live in front of my boat. I even see fish attack my lure. Y'all's sonar's just history. I'm out.
I'm with him.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Cabela's. It's in your nature. Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time. Yamaha Marine, reliability starts here. Garmin, fight your fish, not your fish finder.
There he is. Right there at the boat. There is a drop off. I can see it on my sonar right there. Had my pan optics out there. It was kind of doubled up. Just a little sand drop. Come here. That's a nice, boy, he just barely got it. You know, this water's kind of muddy right here right now. Throwing that chartreuse black back. Caught him on the back hook. He just probably swiped at it. More than likely just moving in to set up the spawn. Nice fat Kentucky Lake bass.
Once you get your first bite, it's amazing how your whole mood changes and what you start to do and what you start to notice in an area. And you know, my first bite basically came thrown across a shallow sandy drop. I'm cranking a Spro Fat John along these drop-offs, and I'm alternating between it and a Little John. Very similar baits, just different actions. I'm feeling like I'm in an area that's got some fish, and I start bouncing around and I start moving around, and I'm trying to dial these fish in. I'm trying to figure out where they are. Well, immediately to the right of where I caught, you know, my first fish, I noticed there was a little kind of a bay, a little pocket. And the first thing you would notice when you look at this bay, I mean, literally turkeys were walking down the bank in this area, is it looks really shallow. And when I look at my mapping, it looks really shallow. I had dialed in the exact water depth based on how low they'd drawn it down. And I'm thinking, man, there's not but a foot or two of water up in there. But I've learned in the past, that's all it takes sometimes. You just got to get in there and find where the little ditch is, find where maybe the wind's blowing the bait fish in, and if you can find a little bit of a depression, it might only be 6 inches to a foot in some of these shallow pockets, you can find a lot of fish.
There's one. Oh, there's another little Kentucky Lake special right there. He ate that crankbait a little bit better than the other one. Come here, buddy. He's got one of those little lamprey things hanging off of him right there. Check him out. That's so fun when you can get one to bite like that. I'm gonna have to get the pliers to get him unhooked. Get him out of there. Oh, that's fun when they load up on it like that. You can see that they bite. They are fun to catch. Let him go back. Go. Check out what we had, a little hitchhiker right here. He was hanging on the bass. I saw him when I come out of there. Now he's hanging on the G of the Garmin. Look at him. Ah! Get off there. We're gonna play catch and release for sure with you. Actually, let's put him on Jeff. Nope. Give him to Jeff. He don't like snakes, I guarantee it. He's about to fall out of the boat. Take him out. Ah. All right, you go back and grow up too. There he is. This might be another drum. No, it's a bass. Oh man, down there, dirt, shallow. That's fun. Look at that. That's what you call eating it right there. When they get it right like that, that's eating it. That guy just crushed it. And I'm fishing it 2.8 according to here, but I'm casting about 6 inches to catch these little guys that are up here. They sure are fun. Go back and see if we can't catch another one. There we go, come here fish. Catching them out of the mud. Come here, buddy. Big and boy, the last couple have just flat out ate it right in the middle. Every one of these little pockets right now are just full of bait fish. You know, right now we're fishing one that the wind's blowing in a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna run back here and drop that power pole real quick. Get it down. Not a very big one, but definitely a bass. You know, you got that wind's blowing that bait fish in here, and what they eat on, boy, the fish is muddy. See if we can't catch another one quick. You know, you talk about matching the hatch. Yeah, we're basically looking at the exact same, a little bit bigger, obviously, for bait, overall lengthwise, but color-wise, very similar. And that's what you want to do when you're fishing. You want to get as close to that, you know, matching the hatch as you can for what they're feeding on. And we saw a lot of this bait fish up here, you know, flipping and jumping out of the water. Changed to that color on the, man, I just hit more bait right there. Pro a cougar shad. And the result was, you know, several bites. No giants, we just hadn't hit them, but that could happen on any given cast. Because now I know in my mind I'm throwing exactly what these guys are in here eating. There he is. Better fish here. So much fun. Just in here eating what they think is a shad. And just winding it and pumping it, and they will crush it. That's all there is to it. You know, it is winter here. We're on the winter drawdown, and we're over visiting Kentucky Lake, you know, fishing out of Paris, Tennessee, and water temperatures, you know, started this morning in the low 50s. They've climbed to about 55, and we've been seeing a lot of bait fish, really shallow. And when I mean shallow, you can tell we're in the mud right here. And we've struggled on the ledge deal in the grass out there. We haven't been able to get any bites, so we're up here in this dirt shallow because there's bait here, and there's some bass up here feeding. So, you know, the moral of the story, even though it is super cold, those afternoons, from super cold, I mean the water temperature, those afternoons when they warm up, and they can push those fish really shallow. And if there's bait in that same area, you can flat out catch them a lot of times.
The Fisherman's Handbook crew trusts Ranger boats to get them to and from their favorite spots on the water. Let's put your Ranger knowledge to the test. What's the earliest year model that Ranger can still provide aftermarket seats for? For the answer to this, or to find out more about Ranger boats, visit mydreamrig.com.
Hobie's Mirage Drive kayaks set the standard for fun on the water. Whether your passion is fishing, sailing, or recreational adventure, Hobie's got a kayak for you. Hobie's Mirage Drive mimics nature's proven designs for efficient and powerful propulsion and enhances your kayaking experience. Mirage Power, Mirage Performance, Mirage Drive. Hobie, enjoy the ride.
Engineered to excel, the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series are built for the ultimate ownership experience. It's a commitment to excellence packed with real-world advantages and exclusive features. Experience the accelerated performance standards of the legendary Ranger Z series. From first light to last cast, they're put together to set you apart. Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
Gill that I've used for the last 5 years has been a far superior product than anything else on the market.
The main thing that's really important to me is me being dry. I've been wearing gill suits now for 3 years and never once have I gotten wet.
Oh, nice shot.
You put the cool in life. We put the cool in coolers. Arctic ice.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Sawyer Products. We keep you outdoors. Bradley Smoker. Food smoking made easy. Sunline America. The strength to guarantee your confidence. We're focusing on shallow water fishing on today's episode of Cabela's Fisherman's Handbook.
I love to fish shallow. To me, shallow, less than 5 foot of water is one of the funnest ways to fish. I like to throw the targets on the bank, and I don't care what those targets are, reeds, rocks, laydowns, boat docks, anything, grass, I don't care what it is. I just like to fish shallow. And there's a guy that absolutely loves it probably more than me, and he likes to fish on 24 height, his trolling motor going as fast as he can, and cover as much water as he can, and that's Clark Winley. You know, Clark and I have had the privilege to fish together for well over a decade now, and it's always fun to get in the boat with him. And you know, we're out here today on his 50th birthday, and we're going shallow. I mean, we're going shallow and flipping into some nasty covers, some kind of like canes that are growing there, little laydowns that are along there. Basically, we're hoping to get the shallow bite going because we're gonna figure them out if they're shallow. And if we figure them out shallow, that's all we're gonna do.
There's an island right there. It's pretty much way over there. I mean, it's about 5 miles probably. I'd run straight to that. You know, today's actually my birthday. I mean, you know, Wade asked me to come fish. I thought, hey, that would be a great birthday present. He and I get to go out on the lake together, and I love fishing, and it always seems like I get to fish on my birthday.
Some of them got it. Golly, did you see that fish jump?
He came totally airborne. That was a pretty good fish.
That was a really good fish.
God.
Yeah, that was a really good fish.
I mean, sometimes that's just going to happen. You're going to have them, you know, you're fishing thick cover and you're going to get a bite like that and you're not going to get him out of it.
No, you're going to lose some in this. I like to use, you know, fluorocarbon in this. I don't want to use the braided line. A lot of people probably think, you know, why not braid here? But it just digs into this. You're going to get hung.
And I totally agree, that's a good point. You know, one thing I always have thought is I feel like if I can get away cover-wise when I'm fighting the fish with fluorocarbon, then that's probably what I prefer to use, flipping. And most people probably go straight to braid. If it's thick stuff, we need braid, but you can get them out of this right here.
You got enough broken stuff. I love to use braid in the grass, but if I can get away with the, like you said there, that's what I want to go to. You know, this is kind of a fun day of fishing. It's Clark's birthday, and I'm really wanting to be nice to him, but you know, rarely do I get many free shots when it comes time to fish with Clark. He's either hitting me in the head with a fishing rod or just simply out fishing me. You know, so today, birthday or not, there's no mercy. I want to catch just as many or more as he does because, you know, I may not say anything when the day's done because the first thing you don't ever want to do with Clark is wake the sleeping giant and talk about that you outfished him. But in his mind, I want him to know that I caught more at the end of the day. I'm just not going to brag. Little better bass there. Yeah. Get up here. Son.
Look at the belly on that guy. That just makes me happy right there.
That just makes you giggle, doesn't it? Makes you giggle.
Eventually I'm gonna catch one on this. And it ain't gonna be long. About 3 or 4 more casts. Got it? Little bitty one. Little bitty one. Wade catches the good ones.
I've been on the opposite side of this many, many times. Where
and it could always turn.
It turns pretty quick. I've learned enough fishing with you that, you know, I don't, if you notice, I haven't said anything about me catching a bigger one or having more bites at this point because I absolutely 100% know better because you don't wake the sleeping monster. Got him.
That sucker came up and
he came up and ate it, didn't he?
He sure did.
See, and those other bites I've had have been like that the last couple.
That one, I mean, it was coming, you know, up over something and he bit it.
I mean, he swirled.
They ought to be biting. I mean, we're just right before front. Water temperature 60. I mean, they ought to be coming right
now. Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. We've only been out here a little over an hour, probably of true fishing time. And I don't know how many bites we've had, but we've had quite a few.
Quite a few, yeah. We're definitely gonna catch some fish today.
The ultimate predator has evolved again. Now, Yamaha VMAX SHO Performance is prowling the waters in 4 hungry, exciting new models. With their 4 valves per cylinder and double overhead cam fuel-injected design, these advanced 4-stroke predators are taking performance to a whole new level. Vicious, lean, efficient. VMAX SHO. The pack is growing.
At Amphibia, we've resolved to build a product that nobody else offers, using methods that nobody else is using, optimized for life on water and land. The choice of top bass fishing pros. Amphibia frames are designed to fit comfortably no matter how your face is shaped, to stay firmly in place through your most physical activities and to float in water. Amphibia sunglasses are truly designed for life on the water.
Heavy duty, rugged, and designed for the big game hunter and angler. The Food Saver Game Saver Titanium Vacuum Sealer has the power and performance to seal in the freshness of your game and fish for up to 3 years, 5 times longer than standard storage methods. And with its extra-wide dual and repetitive sealing capabilities, that's a ton of big game savings. Tough tested and rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by outdoorsmen just like you. The Food Saver Titanium System, it's a true game changer.
Gill that I've used for the last 5 years has been a far superior product than anything else on the market.
The main thing that's really important to me is me being dry. I've been wearing gill suits now for 3 years and never once have I gotten wet.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Engel Coolers, a legend in reliability. Hydrowave, ignite a feeding frenzy. Arctic Ice, we put the cool in coolers. Wade and Clark have been smacking them here on Lake Somerville in Texas, fishing shallow and flipping into reeds.
When you get on a good flipping bite, that's just so hard to not enjoy, isn't it?
I love it because it's like, you know, it's hands-on combat. It's kind of the way I see it is. You know, you've got to make good pitches and a lot of them. It's not one cast every once in a while. It's actively making a good presentation to get a bite. And when I look at this, you know, what I imagine the fish are doing right now is actually spawning. They're actually going to be fish that are on the beds or around the beds getting ready to spawn or just being done spawning. And so, you know, I'm always looking for a little hole, but they can be spawning up in there, in the very middle of it, or on the outside. They can spawn just about anywhere. You know, flipping up in the reeds is really fun, and any kind of flipping, because you're basically trying to get in there, and it's all about the presentation you make to the fish. And every time you reel it in and flip again, and if you watch, you know, we make a whole lot of presentations during the day, and as we do, you got to make just the right presentation to get a bite. It makes it fun on every cast.
Yeah, I probably took a bunch of them out of there. Ooh, good one. Get out of the way here before I get hit.
They seem to be biting a little better now, for sure. When we first started, when I picked up that swim jig the first time, it wasn't all that great. Matter of fact, I didn't hardly even get any bites at all, but now I'm getting some bites. So not a bad fish.
You know, one very important and final thing I can talk about on shallow water fishing that I've noticed over the years is when I can find a lot of bait shallow, there's going to be some bass around them. And it's almost in my mind, it's like they've herded these shad up there. Or the bluegill might be spawning and there's going to be some bass lurking around the edges of them or whatever it may be. And when I can find bait fish in an area where there's, you know, some shallow cover, I'm almost always going to find an old bass looking to eat one of them, and I'm hoping I can trick him into eat my bait versus those bait fish.
For any of the products seen used on today's show, visit Cabelas.com.
Broke that sucker. Shattered it.